Plaintiff Jeff Glass says right around the 4th of July, he discovered that one of the windows in his unit was broken, and he assumed it was because of a firecracker. However, Jeff soon discovered that the defendant's nephews threw a rock through his window, causing it to shatter, so he's suing. Defendant Michael Vigil says he had never met Jeff until the day of the incident, when he came over out of nowhere demanding money. Michael doesn't believe that his nephews are responsible for damaging the plaintiff's property, so he refuses to pay for anything.
Tell me what happened.
Basically, it was right around 4th of July, somewhere within a few days of that. And I had a couple of my friends over at my place. I have a condo. It's got a front living room and a back living room. And all of us were in the front living room, and we went back to the back living room and we discovered the window had been broken. And being that it was right around the 4th of July, we kind of thought, maybe it was a firework, maybe somebody had been shooting off a gun in the area. We didn't really know. So we kind of looked around and we discovered a rock through the window. So at which point I went outside and kind of looked around, as one would do if they had a broken window. And I looked across the street to Mike's property, and I see a bunch of kids, his nephews, who had just moved in, kind of horsing around in the front yard. And where they were playing was in direct line sight with my window that was broken. So I thought, okay, it's probably these kids that broke the window. I walked over to the house and I talked to the kids and I said, hey, were any of you throwing rocks? Because we just had our window broken. And, of course, they denied that they were. I called my next door neighbor, Connell, who was a previous tenant of Michael's, and I told him that I thought that the kids had broken.
You calling the whole neighborhood on these young kids.
So
you riling everybody up. Go ahead.
So I explained to him that I thought the new kids that had moved in had broken the window, and he asked me if the rock was blue. I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, it actually is kind of a blue rock. And he goes, yeah, it probably was then.
You the one broke your window then. You know so much about what color the rock is. How did he know what color the rock was?
Because he had witnessed them clearing the rocks out previous that day to make room for their dog on the little porch area.
He could see from his apartment all the way down to the ground.
It's a small building. There are only 5 units. And
how far was he from those rocks?
Well, he would walk by them every day going to his place.
And that time he walked by, he saw them.
Well, he lived there for 2 years.
Yeah, I know, but the kids had just moved in.
Yes,
so the issue is that day, did he walk by and were the kids there and he saw the kids separating the rocks?
Clearing
is that
rocks.
What he told you?
Yes.
While looking at them separate the rocks, he saw one that was blue.
Well, multiples of them were blue.
Okay, good enough. All right. And that's why you all believe that the kids did it, even though they denied it. Let me hear from you, sir.
Well, first of all, Your Honor, I had not met Mr. Glass prior to the evening, I believe.
Yeah. Is it really?
It is.
Kids were just trying to... They were trying to figure out why your name was Glass. Go ahead.
It is quite the coincidence.
All right. Yes, sir.
Well, Your Honor, this is the first occasion I had met him. I might have seen him before, had not. Can't remember that. What I do remember is that the only kid that was in the area at the time, the only one of my nephews, was with me inside the first unit, that's the front unit of the building. I heard a commotion outside. I went outside, and Mr. Glass was saying, I want to talk to Mike. And so I says, I'm Michael. And he says, you owe me money. I said, for what? And he said, because your nephews, plural, threw a rock and broke my window. I said, look, put it in writing. A few weeks later, he came by with a letter.
Mike, what I would like to know, if that's the case, why after you agreeing to take care of the problem and then 5 minutes later walking over to my property, asking if anybody had been hurt, inspecting the rock, and then further telling me that you would take care of it this once, please get you 3 quotes, and you would pay for it, and you would take away the kids' candy money, were your exact words. because of their rough housing. That way they wouldn't need to see the dentist because they wouldn't have cavities.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Mark, you don't have to respond to that speech. He did not have permission to speak, and when he speaks, he should be speaking to me and not the opposing litigant. Go ahead.
This is a letter which he gave me.
Yes, see it, please. What is it? What is it indicating?
That I owe him money, and no reason for me owing him money. In writing, this is what he gave
It does say
me.
a reason. The bill for our window that was broken.
By and how.
He'd already mentioned it to you, sir. You knew what he was talking about. Don't play crazy. Go ahead.
Okay, he said he would take care of the window, at which point I said, thank you, I appreciate it. I then walked back to my place, and within 5 minutes, he had walked over, looked at the window, asked if anybody had been hurt, and again, he would take away their candy money, and they wouldn't have to see the dentist because they wouldn't be rotting their teeth with candy. And
$550 worth of candy, you're right.
I had the window fixed. I saw him and I gave him the bill probably 10 days after this had all happened. And I hadn't heard anything from him. I left him a voicemail.
You haven't spoken to him at all since then?
No, other than giving the bill, I had not spoken to him.
All right. Sir, you want to respond to that?
Yes, Your Honor. I do not even live there. Their parents live with the nephews. I live more than 60 miles north of the incident place. He did not see who threw the rock. He didn't know anything. And I said, well, wait a minute.
You never agreed to pay for it, sir?
No.
All right.
I agreed that I would consider looking at what he is telling me, but nothing at that night.
You have a driver's license today?
Yes, I do.
Let me see it, please. He says he doesn't live there, let alone have responsibility for the nephews. What street do you live on?
I live on Nell-Rose Avenue.
Yeah, this doesn't say Nell-Rose.
And the unit is on Penmar.
Yeah, but he lives on East Avenue, sir.
Okay.
The other problem you have is that you can't sue him for all of the nephew's actions. You would have to say who specifically did it.
Okay.
Unless you could prove that they were in concert, meaning one was the accomplice. One said, here, take the rock and throw it. Or one said, throw it, and the other threw it. A rock comes through your window, you have to know who did it. You have to get someone to confess. You have to see him directly and say, Jeff so-and-so did it. You can't say, out of all those kids, 3 of those kids were his nephews, and so the 3 out of the 5, one of those 3 did it. They can't prove a case like that, and you can't get a conviction or have someone found liable. And I'm sorry that you incurred that, but I have to follow the law. Your claim is dismissed. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.